Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be taking a look at a deck that I've really enjoyed playing on the ladder, and that is going to be Palafin Palkia. So when Palafin came out in the set Obsidian Flames, I thought it was a pretty good budget deck, and sadly it just kind of ended there. You know, it was fun to play, you could get some wins with it, but at the end of the day it was a single prize budget deck that did have some issues, mainly just keeping energy in play. And sadly, you had to rely on stuff like Energy Sticker from the set 151 and stuff like EXP Share. So was a bit flippant in that regard. However, I've decided to revisit the deck with Palkia, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. And they definitely complement each other very well with Palkia's ability Star Portal, allowing you to accelerate 3 energy from the discard pile, which we'll talk more about later on. But basically, the key reason I wanted to revisit Palafin as well was the new shiny artwork from Paldean Evolved. Just really like how this looks. Now, I did also sink a lot of credits into 3 copies of the alternate art from Obsidian Flames, which was maybe a waste of credits, shall we say, because the card obviously wasn't super great, but I still like how the card looks, and, you know, we're running a 2-1 split of the artwork. I might change this for the exported list because I know TCG Live for some reason doesn't give you the choice to import a list at base rarity, which I really think it should do. So, you know, even if I want to use all these unique rarities in my deck, it makes it really awkward to export the list and share it with you guys, which is very frustrating. But enough about the faffy details. What does the deck actually do if you're not super familiar with this? So Palafin is the ultimate support Pokemon, 150 HP, stage 1 water type, 2 really good attacks, Jet Punch and Justice Kick. Jet Punch is surprisingly good actually, 30 damage, then 30 to on your opponent's bench. It sounds pretty weak, but there is a lot of decks out there, especially in the casual if you want to play on that don't have Manaphy in their lists, and so Jet Punch is quite nice. Even decks that play Manaphy, they still have to find it, they still have to commit an S-Ball to it, which can be a bit weird, but either way, Jet Punch can be quite annoying, and I have won games with this card because, well, this attack rather, because it just allows you to KO smaller HP Pokemon, and also set up KOs for stuff like Radiant Greninja and Palkia, so really like Jet Punch as an attack. Also just good for getting rid of stuff like Mimikyu. So if your opponent does this thing where they put like a Mimikyu in the active spot in the hopes of stalling you for a bit, you can just start Jet Punching the Mimikyu and also hitting their bench stuff. And a lot of the times they maybe don't want to play a switch because they don't want to damage Mimikyu on the bench after that point. So they'll just leave it in the active spot, and then you can just Jet Punch your way through it while also softening up other targets on the bench. Just from personal experience, it's a lot of fun to do that. But yeah, Jet Punch is really nice. And then probably the main selling point about this card, to be honest, is the attack and Justice Kick. For 2 water energy, it does 210 damage. And if his Pokemon didn't move from the bench to the active spot this turn, this attack does nothing, which is a bit frustrating, of course. It just means that you'll never be able to use this if you just evolve up manually from Finizen to Palafin in the active spot and then attach a second energy. You won't be able to use Justice Kick even if you do that, which is a bit of a shame. But still, we do play multiple copies of Switch, and, you know, Palkia and stuff have 1 retreat cost or 2 retreat cost. It's not, like, unrealistic to get multiple Justice Kicks off in a game. It's just a wee bit awkward sometimes. 210 damage, though, is a lot of damage to be dealing on a single price Pokemon, and it just means that if we don't quite get a KO with Palkia, because Subspace Swell isn't really one at killing everything in the game, it will want to KO more than you think. Like, it'll KO stuff like Chien-Pao, which is very handy, but it won't, you know, KO Goldengo, for example, if they don't have a lot of bench Pokemon. So having that 2-hit KO option is really nice with Palafin. So Palafin can essentially double as a second Palkia, essentially. But there's merits and downsides to both. You know, Palkia being a 2-prize Pokemon is a bit unfortunate for the prize trade. So forcing our opponent to actually KO Palafins can be really annoying for them. So that's just kind of there to skewer the prize trade as well and act as a huge beat stick Pokemon and hopefully soak up some damage. And yeah, the 2 energy is moderately expensive. I know 2 energy shouldn't sound expensive, but it kind of is when you don't have stuff like Excalibur or Charizard in play. However, Palkia with VSTAR Portal will allow us to accelerate 3 energy from the discard pile, so we have ways of powering up Justice Kick. We also have EXP Share, so if stuff goes down, we can just conserve some energy in play, which is really nice. We do also have one more attacker that we do need to talk about. I mean, you could attack with Lumineon if you really wanted to and do Aqua Return, but I've never had to do that. Mainly, Radiant Greninja is going to be your 3rd attacker. So Moonlight Shuriken, 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Super annoying attack. I've seen so many people concede against this, and I've conceded a lot against it as well because it's just so annoying to deal with. Having your small HP Pokemon get KO'd like that. Very unfortunate, and it is pretty easy to pull off turn 2, turn 3 as well, especially since this list plays Earthen Vessel to discard energy to find more energy. So yeah, very potent. I would definitely say this deck kind of needs Radiant Greninja as well for a bit of draw power. Even though Path to the Peak is kind of popular, at least we have Bibarel as well to fall back on. So, you know, Iono doesn't hurt us too much. Plus, Palkia is doing more damage for each Pokemon we have in play. I mean, we might as well play Bibarel. And I've just noticed something. This list never changed its deck name from Monkey Trio. If you haven't watched the Monkey Trio deck that I did, my advice is don't watch it. Don't bother. I know it sounds weird, like telling people not to watch your own videos, but that monkey deck was terrible, like really, really bad. So yeah, I probably should rename this deck, but yeah. This is Monkey Trio, I guess. It's dolphins and whatever the heck this is supposed to be. I'm not sure what is Palkia supposed to be. I think like the original was like a dragon or something. And then this is some kind of, what is it, Pegasus, I guess? It's kind of hard to make out on the card artwork, but yeah. That is Palkia Palafin in a nutshell. If I could change anything about this, I'd probably add a Manaphy, of course. You could even add, actually, just noticing it down here, is a Alolan Vulpix, which would give you maybe a better time against Charizard, I guess. But honestly, I don't think you really need it, to be honest. You know, like, if you lose to Charizard, then it's fine. It's one losing matchup. Like, every deck has them. It's okay. Probably should have mentioned this earlier, actually, but Finizen has 50 HP, which is very weak. You could play a 90 HP one, by the way. But this one is so much better because it has the Attack Valiant Evolution, which says switches Pokemon with one of your benched. So bear in mind, this deck could benefit from something like a Mimikyu, for example. If you do, however, search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it. So we are certainly getting a Palafin EX at some point. I really hope it's a good card. But yeah, Finizen can basically just evolve itself into Palafin and also switch itself to the bench, which is very nice. Typically, though, because you're only playing 3 Finzians, not the full 4, and you're also playing so many other basics to open the game with, you probably won't need to do that attack very often. Also worth noting is that this evolve effect only works if you switch. So if you attach an energy hoping to Valiant Evolution when you have nothing on the bench, it won't work, sadly. So that is a bit of a downside. But yeah, I do like this list overall, at least in terms of Pokemon-wise. Fitting in a Manaphy would be ideal. I would say like a Manaphy is probably the way to go. Post-rotation, I don't think any of these cards rotate, as far as I'm aware. No, don't think they do. So we can go on to the trainers, which is probably the more boring aspect about this deck, to be honest, because everything's in like high counts, because I'm just trying to keep things very consistent. Pal Pad is kind of like a staple in most of my decks at this point. I just really like Pal Pad, especially towards the late game. It's just really good for getting back boss and then guaranteeing you actually get more bosses orders off in a game. So you can get away with playing just 2 copies of boss. So yeah, you do have to play boss in this deck, by the way, because you're just very rarely getting a 2-hit KO, well, getting 1-hit KO, sorry. So you have to boss at some points to, you know, finish stuff off if your opponent switches out at least. So yeah, that is relevant. Also got the Colress draw power because I really like this card. Look at top 5, take 3, other 2 go in the lost zone. It's a good card. And, you know, sometimes you won't want to play a research and discard resources, so that's nice. Also got some Irida. For those of you who don't know what this card does, it allows you to search your deck for a water Pokemon and an item. An item won't include EXP share, which is a bit tragic, but you can still use this to find stuff like Earthen Vessel, as well as Battle VIP Pass, actually, in the early turns of the game. That is actually something worth bearing in mind, is that VIP Pass does unfortunately rotate. So if you did want to play a substitute, then I would say a split of maybe Aromatic Incense and then Buddy Poffin, because Buddy Poffin post-rotation will find you your Bidoof and Finzians, and Manaphy actually if you decide to add it, but Buddy Poffin won't find, of course, stuff like Palkia, so it's a bit more annoying in that sense. But yeah, also playing Nestball, 2 Paths to the Peak, which do rotate, but to be honest, this deck could play any stadium it really wants to at this point. Maybe Artisan would be okay, actually, just for additional support in finding those single-price Pokemon. And of course, if you're playing more budget-focused with Palafin, you could remove like one of the Palkia lines, just go down to a 1-1 line, and then increase the amount of Palafin you play. So you could switch things around a bit also to suit costs, because This deck isn't expensive, but it's not like cheapest chips either, especially not when Irida is only in one set and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty annoying. Although, yeah, is Irida in one set? I think Irida's in one set only, but yeah. So one Super Rod just to get some stuff back. Palafin's getting killed. Like 150 HP just really isn't a lot. So yeah, getting killed a lot. 3 copies of Switch, just so we can switch in and out. Again, Justice Kick is a really good attack, but we don't actually have to use it that many times in the game. And if we really have to, we can just retreat out. So that's kind of it for the trainers. And then 10 copies of basic water energy because we don't need it anymore. And thankfully, we can get them back with stuff like EXP share, technically, as well as with Palkia. But yeah, this is the Monkey Trio Palafin Palkia deck profile. Hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what you think about Palafin Palkia down below. And if you have any deck suggestions, then also leave them down below. So yeah, thank you for watching. Okay, so I'm super curious to know what my opponent is playing. It looks like some kind of Mabosstiff Dodrio deck, which who knows how this is going to go, to be honest, without actually remembering what any of these cards do aside from Dodrio. This is going to be super interesting. However, I will note that Dodrio does damage itself at the very least, so there is potential to, KO it with the Jet Punch attack. So quite happy about that, to be honest. Kind of optimistic. Our hand is okay. It's decent, but it is a bit dicey. We might as well get at least one Finizen down. We do have to worry about the fact that, we don't have any energy. We don't have any Palkia VSTAR yet. So it is a bit sketch in that regard, but hopefully we can find some Switch or an Irida, and then we can kind of get the ball rolling and hopefully deal some decent damage and maybe not lose this boss actually, because that is a Mew EX, which should be pretty good. So it doesn't look like we're going to be getting an energy down this turn, which is a bit frustrating, not going to lie. We will get a good board state established though, so that's nice at least. And a Nest Ball for a Finizen. And then what I think I might do is actually just get another Bidoof, so that way if they evolve and can KO this Bidoof, we don't lose out on some draw power. So we'll just do that, and then I think what we'll do is we'll just get Radiant Greninja. So we will keep one Palafin in the hand potentially next turn, which is a bit annoying for Bibarel, but we don't want to, overextend on the Finizens because you don't really need that many in play. If anything, you just need like multiple Palkia and then like 1 or 2 Finizens at some points. So should be okay in that regard. So they do have an Ultra Ball, so we will see what they grab. Is it going to be a Mabosstiff EX? It is going to be a Mabosstiff EX. Okay, so I've actually never played against this deck, so I don't know what it does. What does Daunt do? Tell me what Daunt does, please. Oh, he's got the double turbo as well. Okay, Proud Fangs and Daunt. Okay, that's kind of cool. So Proud Fangs is basically doing 220 if he has a Dodrio in play, basically, because Dodrio will just net him the damage counters. That's really cool. Do get a Manaphy down, though. That is really annoying. Okay, so no Manaphy. Don't want to see Manaphy. That's really annoying, actually. So unfortunately, we won't be able to take advantage of the whole, Palkia Palafin situation. We do also have to deal with the fact that Mabosstiff is going to be a bit of a problem. He also did draw really well and get the double turbo there, which is, unfortunate, but, it is what it is. I'm imagining this is not the kind of start that most players would get with their deck. But we can actually one-hit KO Mabosstiff potentially next turn. We do need a lot to pull it off, but it is possible. So at the very least, we can try, right? So yeah, so he's actually capping at 200, which is good. So if he had gusted our Palkia there, then it wouldn't have been as problematic, I guess, because of double turbo. So we've got that going for us at the very least. And that's Colress. That could be pretty good. So we have a choice here. We either Colress or we Bibarel first. Decisions. I think I'll just Bibarel, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'll just Bibarel. Go Bibarel, then Colress, and see what happens. That's good. That is really good, actually. Okay, sequencing. What do I want to do here? I need more stuff through Greninja. So I'll Greninja first, and then we can Earthen Vessel. That's really good, though. Like, that is huge. We definitely needed that to happen. So, okay, even better. That's definitely really good. So, that will actually keep us in the game, potentially, I hope. As long as I haven't, like, misplayed horrendously bad, I think we should still be in the game at this point, because that Bibarel, wow, that was pretty clutch there, but thank goodness. So we can Colress. We don't want a boss this turn. We don't want a boss at all. Don't get Palkia VSTAR, though. Oh, that's tragic. Alright, Bibarel, I guess. Palkia. Sure, Palkia. Energy. That's annoying. Okay. So, we didn't get anything there, which is super frustrating. I will attach an energy to Palafin, and then I'll just pass. So that was nearly perfect, because we could have evolved into Palkia, and then used Star Portal, and one it killed my boss stiff, and that would have been a great comeback, but yeah, sadly, it doesn't happen like that. Although our opponent will Iono us, so hopefully we get a Palkia off this. I would like a Palkia, please. Also, why did I send Pal Pad to the Lost Zone? That was a bit strange. I shouldn't have done that, actually. That was a misplay. Can they ever attack with Mew EX? Probably, but probably not as well. Okay, so we do have to worry about Dodrio, actually. That's another point. This is a cool game, though. I'm glad that I'm against my boss stiff and not, pay to win Charizard, because that's what it is at this point. I just think Charizard was cool, like in the first few days of Obsidian Flames when people were still working out how to build it properly, and there was like all these weird variants you could encounter on the ladder. And now it's just the same Charizard, Pidgeot, Bibarel stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of boring, but rotation will come soon enough, and maybe Mabosstiff will be playable, but it's just so strange seeing a Mabosstiff deck. Like, it looks cool. Like, to be fair, the artwork is cool, and this is probably a cheap deck, right? Daunt. Okay, does that mean I can't KO him then? During the attacks used by the defending Pokemon. So I don't think that actually applies if I evolve, funnily enough. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, at least. Well, let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. Let's do a bit of learning. Alright, okay. We'll do Irida first. So, get Palkia, so I actually know what I'm doing. Do I need Switch? I have a Switch in hand. I don't need Switch. Palkia, I guess Nest Ball. Sure, why not? Palkia Nest Ball. Sadly, we can't get EXP share, which would have been 110% ideal. So, new question. Will Daunt affect me now that I've evolved? It doesn't seem to affect me. No, it doesn't. Okay, cool. That is really cool. So I could manually attach, or I could Greninja and Accelerate 3. I mean, I probably might as well just Greninja then Accelerate 3. Might as well, right? Might as well. Okay, that's not really what I wanted, not gonna lie, but okay. Nest Ball for a Finizen. So at the very least, this has been a pretty, not a stale game, but it's been interactive at the very least. So that's cool that I've actually got set up. My opponent's got set up, and neither of us have conceded yet. So that's cool. So we'll do Star Portal. Must attach an energy to the active spot. If I don't, I will cry. I think, although my boss stiff can KO this thing, which is a bit scary if it does, I'll put an energy down here. And then, I know this is like a bit weird, but I'm actually going to put energy down there as well. So I'm going to split up my energy quite a bit, so my opponent can't really just remove one threat. So unfortunately for him, Daunt did not wear off. I see the strategy there, it was smart, but unfortunately Daunt is removed when I evolve. So that would have been great if I'd evolved and not had the energy, but I always had the energy with Star Portal, so it's alright. And we do have another Finizen, which we can discover with Ultra Ball to find Palkia VSTAR, assuming he doesn't want to kill us. I would like to find Boss, but I'm pretty sure Boss is at the bottom of the deck, which sucks. And he might go for the Boss respawn KO on Palkia, which is fair. Although, to be honest, our game plan at this point is just KO my Boss stiff and then KO Mew with Boss. That's like our strat here. And if we can potentially get the dream play, which is switch Boss. I've literally got the hand as I was explaining it. Switch Boss with Justice Kick into Mew, then that would be fantastic. But that might actually be the play here. But he did play an Iono, He didn't play a boss, so honestly, YouTube, if you mess up this recording and it's all glitchy and stuff, I'm just be so mad. But yeah, okay, so that's interesting. So he does put an energy on Mew. So either he didn't find the Mabostiff thing, he doesn't even want to kill me. Wait, do I want to kill him back? Or do I need a full bench? Does he need a full bench? Do I cap at 240? Yeah, cap at 240. That's what I thought. So, how do I want to do this? I think Justice Kick, right? Or do I just substay Swell? I'm going to be greedy, actually. I'm going to be greedy. Let's see this backfire on me horribly, but I'm going to be greedy. I am. Energy. Switch. I mean, if we get double boss, that's definitely an option here. Also, is there another boss on the top of the deck, actually? I never thought about that, because I think the boss were together. Yeah, they were together. Okay, that's cool. So that probably I should have waited, actually, to do that, because if he Ionos me again, then I won't be able to do that again, so that sucks a bit, I guess. But Justice Kick, we'll see if Ember Power fumbles his near victory, because he's having to expend so much more to get KOs compared to me, so we'll have to see if this has been the greatest fumble of all time, and if he has another Iono. I doubt he will, but if his build is more like Disruption focused, maybe he does have a third Iono. That's a Mastiff. So go ahead, KO Palafin, take your prize card. And then we should be good, question mark? I mean, we do win next turn if he doesn't Iono us. So I just kind of remember that we also just KO them with Palkia, so we can just boss Mew for Palkia. Also, if you just bench anything, that'd be cool as well, so I can just KO this. So what does he need realistically? Okay, that'll do it. That will do it. So yeah, that's actually the game. A bit anticlimactic, I think. I think he just wasn't drawing very well at certain points. The Daunt play was a cool attempt, but sadly not very effective. But yeah, no, I think that was really cool. Very cool idea from a Mabostiff. Definitely proof that, you know, more or less anything can be played on TCG Live. You just have to, like, look past the whole... Alright, he conceded. Fair enough. Okay, Speed Ember Power. Thank you for watching.